There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the after show. And I got some stories to tell. Because I went to TwitchCon. Today was the last day, obviously. But, so, where should I start?
I don't know.
Let's go with the party on Saturday night, where a lot of shenanigans happened. So first off, I work with another group called the Cosplay Wrestling Federation. They were one of the representatives came down for TwitchCon, and she was given the partner access, gift bag, but also like, hey, there's a partner only party happening Saturday night. What I didn't know is that they have a +1 for this year, and I was that +1.
And I was that +1.
So I went there, dressed nicely because I usually do for all the TwitchCon parties. And the first thing I walked in, it was in a kids museum, which was interesting. So you walk in, and the first thing you see is they gave you actually, you know what? I think I have it actually. Hang on a second. I can actually show you. Let's see. We have to look now. I'm too lazy. Basically, they gave us coloring books. Of like Twitch emotes that we can like draw whatever in it. But it was crowded. Or it was already crowded as it was, but like it was kind of in a big area. Like the museum was actually pretty sizable. It had like 2 different stories, one downstairs, one upstairs. They had different rooms. Much of it was about science and whatnot. But also had like a drawing room. They had brought in a DJ for music, and all the food there was free. All the drinks there was open bar and free. And it was awesome because there were at least a good 5-6 different bar, what do you call it? I want to say 5 different bars, or like they had set up several locations around the museum for people to get drinks essentially. And it was really cool. Like when I first, found out like it was all open bar for that night, I was like, all right, this is gonna be the night where I'm gonna go hard and going in. So, I drank a lot. I ended up talking to actually some of the streamers I follow and that I met, and they're like really cool people. And it's like, oh, so I met the Djibouti Dubs crew. They're really chill people.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then I met.
I'm a little jealous of that. Not gonna lie.
I met the 8-bit drummer that was there. Him and his lawyer, by the way, which I talked to recently too. I was like, oh shit, hey, well, you know each other indirectly. So it was really cool seeing him. I saw Trihax again. I saw him on I was thinking Friday, I think it was. I saw him. I shook his hand and I saw him again. Like, I enjoy your content, man. Just like that type of person. I'm not the type of person, but like, I need a picture. Although, with the exception of what happened that Saturday night. So talked to him, and then for the rest of the night, I ended up just kind of going around, just kind of talking to other people, kind of people watching and getting drunk, and seeing some interesting things happen in front of me. Like there was when I went to the back. Okay, well. let me phrase this so I just we're gonna fuck it. Okay. So I go to the bathroom. I'm already drunk as it is, and I'm just doing my business. I do not know who this person was. He was probably as drunk as I am, and like, the rule when you go to the bathroom, you don't talk to the other person next to you when you're doing
Generally speaking, yeah.
That kind of went out the window that night with this person. He just like, at that point I was pretty drunk. Cause like, I'm just gonna roll with it, and he was just like, we were to talk to one another. Just like, hey, what's going on, man? Like, just draining the lizard, man. How about you? Like, doing the same thing. Yeah.
Draining. What are you guys fucking working on a job site? Like, what? Fucking ball and chain at home. Hey, did you see the game last night? Oh yeah, man. 90s comedy is hilarious.
Oh man, it was nuts. I have no idea who this person was. The only thing I remember of him was he had like black sunglasses on. He was wearing the purple Twitch sweater, and then like he was blonde and white. That's like the only memory I've had of him. So like that was an interesting thing that happened. And then I saw Ross like I won't say dancing, but like he was like goofing around with his friend Ross from Game Grumps.
Okay, I was like, who are we talking about?
Yeah. Which I met actually on the first day too. I just went up to him and gave him the fist bump, like told him like, hey, you do good stuff. I saw him just like I want to say dancing, but like he was doing something. Like he was goofing around with his friend, and I was like, I was gonna go up to him, but like, nah, I'm just let him be. So, but yeah, that was pretty cool. I think the only regret, honestly, because I didn't know he was gonna be there, was Burke Black. Like he was there, and like, because I was waiting in line and I heard his voice, like, what the fuck? And he's right next to me. He's like, oh shit. But he was in conversation, so I don't want to interrupt him. So, but no, it was a really fun time. I got super drunk. I almost kept drinking that night because the people I was hanging out with like told me like, hey, do you want to come with us, to a bar? And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna join you guys. I pick up my bag and I go bathroom and I lost them in the crowd. I was like, I have no idea where these guys are. So I end up walking back toward the San Jose area, the downtown area. And the funny thing is when I went there, A, to get a hot dog so I can sober up, and B, because the cold air helps as well to sober up. There was people in the park just like mingling and talking to one another, and then like there was also a DJ for some odd reason out there playing music. So I'm walking around and I see some old friends of mine, and I'm like, they basically just had like the LobbyCon from Fanime to here in the park at TwitchCon. For those who don't know what LobbyCon is, it's basically when like late at night, usually up like 2-3 in the morning, people are just talking to one another, and it's because A, they're super drunk, B, they were kicked out. Oh shit, sorry.
Oh my god, holy shit, the sound that came off of that. Woo!
Yeah.
Boy, I was kind of sleeping there for like a second, I think. Holy crap, man.
My bad. My hand hit the bottom of the XLR mic.
Whoa. It was like a Christopher Nolan movie's trailer was happening. I was like, I don't, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, podcast or audio listeners.
I pooped myself a little bit, I think.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so basically LobbyCon is just everybody where hangs out, either drunk or being kicked out of a room for being too drunk or whatever, in the dead of night at Fanime and other conventions. We call it LobbyCon because that's what we do. So yeah, essentially that happened at the park, and then I was too drunk. It's like, I'm just gonna Uber it back to my friend's place, and that's what I did. But Saturday night was pretty insane. It was a pretty fun night overall. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else happened this past weekend. Oh, I did not know this until this when I was getting my schedule. I was looking through the schedule. I was like, what panels I'm gonna check out, like what other stuff are happening at TwitchCon. I did not know that Twitch like brought in like some pretty famous people to either do a tech talk, like a 30-minute interview, on the main stage at TwitchCon, or bring in other people to be part of a D&D campaign. So I found out that Kevin Smith, the Kevin Smith,
Yeah.
was doing a tech talk, and I was like, what the fuck? So I had to be there. I had to go check it out, and it was awesome. I do want to go back and watch the VOD just to see what the comments were. But it was pretty sick. It was hilarious. It was awesome, and it was really cool for Kevin Smith to come out, talk about Twitch and trying to trying to conform to us or trying to relate to us in some way. The day before that, on Friday, Tony Hawk was there apparently, or at TwitchCon, getting his tech talk, which I have no idea what he would talk about. Like, it. I have to go back and see the VOD. I guess it's a little weird. I mean, I sure Tony Hawk was in the game, but as far as like how he would connect to Twitch in some way, I don't know. And then today, Felicia Day was here today. Well, she was here for the tech talk, but also she was part of the D&D campaign. Which they did an awesome job, by the way. Like the D&D campaign with the Waffle Crew that they put on stage at TwitchCon was pretty awesome because they were still rolling dice and they were still playing D&D, but like they were also acting it out as well. So that was really cool. Also, hey, they brought in Xavier Woods from the WWE to be in the show. I was like, so it was a star-studded cast this past weekend on each day. So it was pretty insane. Like it was mad dope.
Mad dope, fresh.
Yep.
Fresh and dope, man.
Yep. I will say though, like if everything positive. Or go ahead, sorry.
Legitimately, I'm super jealous that I didn't get to go.
Yeah, man. Well, first off, you would enjoy it, but second off, as many positives as I'm giving TwitchCon, there was one big negative that did happen at the day 1 and day 0 of TwitchCon. So it was pretty bad when I got there to get my badge on day 0. Because I get there and it was just people everywhere in the front. There were people in line to get a badge and people were, I guess, hanging around or just to get in. And there was no direction. There was nobody saying anything, the Twitch staff or anybody saying like, hey, this is a line for the affiliates, the partners. Like, it was mass confusion, and it was pretty bad. So on Thursday, I already got my badge ready. I was ready to go. Got it on day 0, on Friday. I meant to say. So on Friday, I'm ready to go inside. I have my badge ready. I get in line, but I started at the Hilton side. I mean, Marriott side. Of the convention center, which is on the far left, and I didn't get into the convention until like 2 hours later in, and I've heard stories that people have like didn't get in until like 4 or 5 hours because there was already a long line just to get your badge, but also there was another long line just to get in. And on top of that, there was a strike happening on the Marriott side the entire weekend. So a lot of stuff, a lot of combination of a lot of things were happening at the same time. But like I think what it was, and I think it's what happened last year at the after party at TwitchCon. Whatever the way that security was doing it this year was you had to put your metal stuff on a little cup and then like pass it through, and your bag has to be a certain size and for them to look in and whatnot, and then you enter through the metal detector. And it's all because of A, safety precaution, but also B, what happened in Jacksonville, and that's kind of when people wanted more security at TwitchCon. So that was the process that we're doing it on the first day, but because it was causing so much wait in the lines, Twitch said like, you know what, fuck it, we'll just ease up on the security, And then for those who were there on Friday, they were only up for the Friday badge, but like missed most of the day because of the lines were happening there. They basically gave them an extra day for free. Like everybody who had any Friday badge get to go to TwitchCon for the second day for free, which was cool on them to do. But yeah, that was pretty horrid in the first 2 days. So after that, it got a lot better.
It tends to happen at big conventions and stuff. Like, it just takes like a little bit for it to start to get like the ball rolling, and they figure it out. I mean, it'll never be as bad as TanaCon. So
that is true. That is true. I've heard much worse. I've been in much worse lines and experiences before, so like I know that feeling all too well. But outside of that, TwitchCon was a lot of fun. Made a lot of connections. Made some. Definitely gotta follow up with some things I gotta business wise on my end. I was able to take part in my first appointment, by the way. Like, I was going through my emails, and usually I have like emails through one of the groups I'm in, and mailing list, and one of them was like, "Hey, you want to have an appointment for this game?" I was like, "All right, yeah, sure. Let's see how it feels like to be like doing like a press thing." So I had my first appointment with a game called Breach, which is it is the way to describe the game. It is think of it as a kind of D&D in a way, to where like you have a dungeon master in terms of, like, the person is controlling in each room what it is and what the players are facing, and there's a certain goal for each room. And the players that play in it are called heroes, and they have different heroes you can choose from, that ranges in kind of a wide aspect of, like, here's somebody who knows how to deal with a sword, here's somebody who's a mage, here's somebody who is like really good at this particular thing. So it's kind of in that aspect, like it is a D&D in physical form. And you have goals. It's kind of a weird combination, and I'm pretty sure I'm not describing it the best way, other than the fact that I probably just tell people, like, just go look up Breach online. And I know it's going to be probably mixed up with the other games that sound like Breach, but it's out there. It's a third-person multiplayer action game. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I spent some time with the devs and talked to them, asked them a bunch of questions, and played the game. And I'm willing to give it a shot. Again, I played at TwitchCon. It was actually pretty fun. So, but yeah, I took part in my first appointment there, and then I did the whole Milton Tea Pie thing for you, Greg, as we discussed in the pre-show. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, like outside of that, like it was in general a lot of fun to go to, and it was, probably one of the best TwitchCon experiences I had thus far.
That's good. I'm like I said, I'm super jealous that you got to go, and I'm definitely gonna try to plan to go next year. I said that last year too, but
it also depends where they go to, because like so far they've all been in California. And when they'll announce for the next one, I don't know when that will be, but that I'm very curious to see where they go next. Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So briefly, I wanted to kind of touch up what's going on in my life. Because things have changed. Basically, the long and short of it, during the beginning of this year, around, I want to say late March, early April, I had a small knee injury, and I wasn't making any money. And then I went back to work, and then my other knee did the same thing, and I couldn't stand on them. Eventually, they healed up, and I was able to go back to work. But summer had started. Now, for anyone that doesn't know, I used to work in the cafeterias as a lunch assistant substitute, and the big problem. Sorry. The problem is that during the summertime when school's out, I don't have any work. So I'm not making any money. I believe that goes hand in hand, so I didn't have to specify that. So my dad was stressed out because he wasn't bringing in enough. My parents, wow, what's up, blue screen? Um, my parents' disability money wasn't making enough, so something needed to change. Something needed to happen, and I had agreed that to find a better job, to find something more stable, something with more hours. So I started working at a gas station. If you live in California or on the East Coast or the West Coast, AMPM is the name of the place. Um, Now, I'm not shooting any, like, I'm not saying that working at a gas station is bad in any way, shape, or form. Having a steady job is a good thing. However, this place, its hours are all over the place. I don't have set days off. Um, when we were doing the podcast every Sunday, I had Sundays off, so I could do the podcast. Not like tonight, I got off work at 10:30. So that's why we did that's why we're doing a super late long stream. Well, not super long, but super late stream.
Yeah.
Uh, this is something that sucks. The other thing that sucks is because it's a 24-hour location. To like tomorrow night, I have to do a graveyard, so I'll be working from 10 o'clock to 6 in the morning. I hate that shit. I absolutely despise it because I just don't sleep. It's awful. And I am actively looking for a new job, a better job. But at the moment, this is what I have, and so the podcast is going to be kind of, touchy on when we go live and when we do it and all that kind of stuff. But we'll try to keep in contact with you guys via social media about when we're going to go live, how we're going to do it. It will be sporadic from time to time, but we'll do our best.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Also, just to clarify another thing, because I think this is it's part of the important part of the story, but we had a really, really, really shitty September. You know that Green Day song "Wake Me Up When September Ends"?
Mm-hmm.
It was on repeat for me. So, wait, August? No, September. It was September. Was the shitty month. So, at the beginning of the month, we had planned to have our dog Scarlet spayed. The problem is that she's 7 years old. When she was a puppy, and the vet was saying we needed to get her spayed, my dad was scared because she was so small. Even though they do literally hundreds a month. It's a textbook at this point, but he was scared, so he never did it. We never got it done. And unfortunately, the day that we were taking her in to get spayed, there was something wrong. When we took her in, it turned out that she had an infection, but they couldn't, without an ultrasound, figure out where the infection was coming from. And the vet was like, I was like, it's either in her or it's in her mouth. My mom goes, we don't really have the money to do any of the other stuff, and I know this sounds terrible, but can we just do antibiotics and see if it goes away? And they were like, yeah. So it seemed to have helped. It seemed to have worked. So 2 weeks later, we scheduled for her to go in for the spay, and I had gone into my job to get my paycheck. We cashed it. I got some Burger King. We were on the way home. And as we're heading home, my mom calls and she's frantic. She's like, Scarlett's just whining really loud and she's like hunched over and she looks like she's in a ton of pain. We don't know what's going on. So my dad and I rush home. We were already on our way home, but it was really bad, Anthony. Like, her back was really like hunched up. Her ears were down, which are usually they're perked up. And she was just doing a very loud whine, like she was in just excruciating pain, giving us that look of like, please fucking do something, because this is the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life. And we were trying to help her out. We could see that something was wrong. So my mom calls the vet. They were like, "Can you bring her in now?" And we were like, "Yes, we can do that." So my dad rushes her to the vet, and it turned out that it was an infection in her uterus, and it had actually gotten worse over the past 2 weeks. And they were like, "Here's the thing: we have to do emergency spay right now, or she could die." And we were just like, "Okay, fine, let's do it." So they did the surgery, but the other issue was that they don't have an overnight stay place at that particular vet because it's inside a PetSmart. And so they had to send her to a different location. Well, here's the thing: the emergency spay with our insurance still cost my mom $1,300. The hospital stay at this particular vet clinic that's close to our house for one night was $700. So this whole ordeal cost my mom $2,000, which she loaded up on her credit card that she had just gotten a huge bump in her spending limit, which was around $2,000. And I had worked the day that all this happened, right? So I'm freaking out at work a little bit. My mom texts me that she's gonna be fine. I was like, all right, okay. Friday, the very next day, we kept visiting her. Like, we would leave the house and go to the Banfield, or go to this, not Banfield, we would go to this particular vet. And she wouldn't eat. Scarlett is a very picky eater, very picky dog. And she just wasn't eating. So the last time I went to go pick her up, which was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the vet was like, "Well, we can't release her until she eats because there could be something else wrong." And we were like, "Well, we don't have the $700 for her to stay another night." And they were like, "Okay, well, we'll figure out what we can do." The vet finally has the idea of like, "Oh, maybe there's liquid on her stomach because that can sometimes happen with the IV." So they did that, and they drained her stomach. She was then hungry and ate. So we were able to bring her home like 10 o'clock at night on Friday. So that was a whole ordeal, right? But she was fine. She's healthy now. A week later, my dad has to go in for non-invasive heart surgery.
Jesus.
Yeah. Right before that happens, my mom starts to get these weird sores on her hands, right? And we're like, what the fuck are they? Are they warts? Are they just blisters? Like, how the fuck did she get them? So she goes to emergency care, which costs $100. And the doctor was like, "Don't know how it happened. Don't know how you caused it. Could be the stress. Could be a lot of things. But you basically have an herpes outbreak on your hands."
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you know this, Anthony, but medically speaking, everyone has a form of herpes in their system.
Yeah. It's funny enough. When I was at my friend's place for the TwitchCon weekend, like he was playing a lot of the I want to say a Netflix show or it was some show where it was Adam Conover, something along those lines, ruins everything.
You're talking about Adam Ruins Everything. Yeah.
Yes.
That show's usually on True TV, but they put it on Netflix recently.
Gotcha.
I love that show. But yeah, so because of that, you know that. Basically, the long and short of it, the stress from Scarlett, the upcoming stress from my dad's surgery, was making my mom so stressed that her immune system had weakened to the point where basically, like, there's a lot of factors into it, but she had herpes outbreak on her hand, and she still technically does, but they're healing, and they're still fucking disgusting. But so that was a thing we were dealing with suddenly. My brothers came into town for my dad's heart surgery. Those 2 days were the most exhausting days I think I've ever had, for two reasons. Worried about my dad, which anyone would be when your father's going through heart surgery. Now, when I say non-invasive heart surgery, just to clarify, they went through a vein in his crotch up to his heart, cut a piece of it off, and then pulled the thing back out, and then turned off his heart, and then turned it back on. That's what they did.
Mm. Mm.
So, but I wasn't as stressed out as my brothers were because I had done my research. The odds of it failing and my dad going into cardiac arrest or dying were extremely minimal. This procedure is textbook. This procedure is done literally 100 times a day. It's so textbook, Anthony, and so non-invasive that there were like 5 other people in the same room that they did the surgery in. I'm not even kidding. Like, I think the other 4 people in there were having the same type.
Oh, wow. Crazy.
Well, that's just how textbook it is, and it's so non-invasive that there's really no risk for like open air infection like you would have with a different type of surgery, because it's so non-invasive. Literally, like they puncture a hole in a vein near the crotch, put a tube through that has like a little pieces. It's really really cool, but also at the same time, it was kind of scary because there's a very tiny percentage that is wrong, but still, regardless, you go through, But my brothers didn't do any research, so they're just over the top stressed about it, and trying to deal with their bullshit all fucking day during the surgery was exhausting, Anthony. Like, so my little brother, he says to me one day, like, I told him, I was like, you both need to calm down. You both are driving me nuts. Like, Josh with his temper, you with your, like, franticness, like, you both need to chill the fuck out. I'm just worried, Greg. I get that you're worried, Jeff, but you need to understand this procedure is really simple. And Dad's gonna be fine. And he was like, how do you know? And I was like, because I did my research, Jeff. When Dad told me he had AFib and the problem that the original procedure caused, that they need to fix that problem, I looked into it. I did a little bit of research. I learned how textbook it is and the type of room that they do it in, and it's not even a surgery room. And he was like, "That's not?" And I was like, "No, it's not, Jeff. It's really not. Like, it's super easy. Like, yes, I'm worried too. We all should be worried because it's still a medical procedure, but you would be a hell of a lot less worried if you did some research." And he was like, "Well, Mom didn't want me to tell you this. Mom didn't want me to go into this, but this is the anniversary of when Grandpa died. And what the fuck does that have to do with anything?" "Well, you know how superstitious I am." And I was like, "Yeah, and that's fucking stupid. If you really think that there's a connection between the exact same day that Grandpa died of a heart attack to Dad having this surgery, you are delusional." No, I understand that, Greg, but you have to understand where I'm coming from. Jeff, no, I understand exactly where you're coming from. You're coming from the camp of, I'm looking for patterns that don't exist. And I said, you have to get that out of your own head. You are playing it up in your own mind because you choose to be scared. You choose to put extra spice on this situation when it's not needed. Fast forward to later in the day. Jeff's like, "Oh, what?" Fast forward to later in the day, I'm having a conversation with Josh, and I'm just like, you need to calm down. Your temper, your attitude are really, are a problem. You're so stressed out and you're so worried about Dad that you're making me feel that, and that's not fair. You're making Mom feel that, and that's not fair. And he goes, "Oh, I don't like this. I don't like." Of course, no, who would like it, Josh? But when you are times 10 what we are, it makes us feel that, and it's not fair. And then I had a conversation to him about the procedure, and he was like, "I didn't know it was that simple." Well, yeah. Talk to dad. Learn about the procedure. Go online. We live in the information age for a fucking reason.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So that day was exhausting. And then, talking to my dad, my mom, like Scarlett's $2,000 bill, the pills that she's already getting, plus our regular expenses, plus the $700 my dad has to pay on the surgery. We just had a lot, really fast, in a month's time.
Wow.
And in order to pay it back, in order to get out from under this debt thumb, I had to get a better job. I had to get something that was going to bring in more cheddar. Like normally, I pay $400 a month living here. That's $300 rent, $100 towards utilities, and a few other things that I pay for myself. Right now, I'm paying $800 a month to help.
I see.
Yeah. So once the goal of my life right now, Anthony, is that once this year is over, towards the end of the year, I'm going to fill out the FAFSA and the the FAFSA.
Yeah, tomato. But like, yeah, I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And there's a different type of grant you can also apply. I'm going to apply for both, see what I can get, talk to a counselor, and then try to go to college next year.
Yay.
I've already applied for the spring semester, which Consumers River College was like, yeah, you're good.
Oh shit.
They accept everybody. I mean, they don't turn anyone away. The only reason they would turn me away is if I didn't have a grant or money. In general. So yeah. But which I doubt I won't have because the income in this house is small, and my personal income is small. But plus we live in California, so that helps a lot. But
yeah.
But yeah, I need a life change. I need to definitely do something. And I talked to my folks about it, and I was just like, I'm miserable working at AM/PM. I am absolutely miserable, and it's not just the hours. Like it's the type of job. Like Anthony, on an average day, how many people do you think a department store or like a retail store person has to deal with?
Well,
in an 8-hour span.
In an 8-hour span, I'm gonna say at least. I want to say at the very least in a day, a good 20 to 50 people.
Yeah. Okay. Seems about right. I mean, if you like, I dealt with probably when I worked at Walmart on an 8-hour day.
Yeah.
For a 7-hour shift at AM/PM, I probably deal with about, and I'm not exaggerating, I'm under fucking selling it too, about 500 people.
Jesus.
Now keep in mind, this is a gas station, so most transactions are, here's a denomination I want on pump number. That's what most transactions are. And most transactions are under $20. If I do most transactions that are under $20, Anthony, and at the end of my shift I look at my report and I've done $8,000, do the math. How many people is that a day?
Yeah.
It's a lot of fucking people. I hate it. As an introvert, I hate it.
I hear it.
So that's one of the big reasons why I want a job. Like I've kind of been looking for a different job, but at the same time, I'm thinking maybe I should just stick this one out and then go to college and deal with it. Now, there's a bunch of other things I could go into, Anthony, but we're on stream and I don't really want to.
Yeah.
Plus, I am getting a bit sleepy, but
same here. I am.
It's just not a great. It's not a great job. I want to go to college. So
no, it's good. It's good, man. It's good you're going to college or you wanting to do that. Use the resources, man, as much as you can, and get whatever you need to get degree wise. I will say.
Yeah, I talked to Brian Belcher of Heat, and he was basically saying like, the great thing about community colleges is if you talk to the counselor and you explain your situation, there's probably jobs at the campus for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
I wouldn't be opposed to that. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Definitely do it. Side note, I actually attended CRC um this past year. That's right. That's right. Because when I was still living up here, I was going to school there to pursue a what do you call it? A certificate in video editing and video production. And I had to take a beginning film class or a video class. So I went to CRC for about a couple months to finish a semester before I moved out to SoCal. Which and I stayed, and I had no way of going to school back up here. I couldn't continue down south, but like I'm kind of I'm there pursuing the job, and I'm pretty much where I want to be, to
that's
be
good.
to apply for. But side story, I just went to CRC. I know exactly what that area is and that school is. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the I really need to change my life. That's something that I've noticed big time for me is that I'm 35. I'm living with my folks. I'm way overweight. I need to change a lot of things. And one of the big things that I've actually been changing is my diet, Anthony, because I also discovered. All right,
Sorry.
welcome to the stream, everybody. One of the things that I recently discovered that I have is gout.
Mm.
Now, anyone who's curious, gout is just an arthritic problem. I was bound to have it. What causes gout is basically just, it's like I said, it's arthritis. A ton of people get to different types of arthritis, and you could be all kinds of ages. But for me, because of my weight, my gout popped up when I was 35. Since I'm 35. What causes a gout out or like pain attack, if you will, which, dear God, it's one of the worst pains I've ever experienced in my life. What causes the gout outbreak is a buildup of uric acid, which is caused from fish, from alcohol, from sodas, from I don't remember the other thing. Sometimes red meat, if you like way too much red meat, it can cause it. But generally speaking, when I went and saw the doctor for my gout, he was like, "What changed in your diet that you normally don't have?" And I was like, "I was drinking about 60 ounces of Diet Dr. Pepper every day since I was at work because for the caffeine." He's just like, "Stop doing that. That's what's causing the gout or the gout problem." And I was like, "All right." And then I stopped drinking it, started drinking a shit ton of water, and it went away. But yeah, so that in a sense is helping me try to form a different diet that I think can go towards me losing weight. And at this point, Anthony, it's not just about getting healthy like I keep saying. Legitimately, I need to lose weight because of my legs. I'm killing my legs. I'm driving them literally into the ground.
Yeah. What was it? Wasn't No, that was an infection. Yeah, never mind. I was supposed to say like did a similar thing happen with Josh, but like no, that was an infection he had in his toe. So yeah.
Yeah. He had a what's it called? Staph infection.
Yeah.
That turned into skin-eating bacteria or whatever. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's.
Well, a lot of people like think gout is caused from having diabetes. No. Gout can pop up without you having diabetes. Gout is just arthritis in a very localized, specific location. That's another thing, Anthony. You want to know what kind of pain comes from having a gout attack?
I do not know.
Imagine somebody is scraping your bones with a knife from the inside. It's a sharp, loud, hot pain. I mean, like, scale 1 to 10, a solid 8. Could not walk on my foot.
Jesus. Damn.
Yeah, I had to call work, and I was like, hey, I can't step on my foot because it hurts a lot, and my dad's pretty sure it's gout. And my boss was like, pretty sure. And I was like, well, we haven't gone to the doctor because we don't have the money. So pretty sure it's gout. Point is I can't stand on my foot for either a very long at all. And she was like, shit, there's no one to cover your shift. And I was like, I know, I don't know what else to do. And that's why I'm calling you now. And she goes, you know what? I think we can bring out a stool. I was like, okay, cool. Well, it took you that long to get to that point, but cool. So they brought out a stool, and I was using that for a couple days, and then the stool went away, and now it's not there, and it makes me sad because now my overnight shifts are going to be me on my fucking feet for the whole time. Which, actually, I think I'm just going to bring out that folding chair. I'm just going to fucking bring it out.
See what happens. Yeah.
I don't understand. That's another thing that pisses me off about this place is, like, I get that you only have one person on the graveyard shift because it's so slow that the store doesn't warrant the amount of money being made to hire 2 people for that spot. I get it. But at the same time, why not give that person that's there who does not get a lunch, who does not get two 10-minute breaks, why not give them a stool to sit on?
Yeah.
I don't understand it, so.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Sorry. Oh man. I am.
All right. That's why I had to find a better job, or a higher paying job, I should say, instead of the 3 hours a day I was getting with the school and then time off as well. There's been a lot of changes in my life, a lot of changes that need to happen, that have to happen, a lot of plans in the future. My goal is to still make time for this podcast, to still make time for the All Queued Up podcast. They're, in a sense, a form of therapy for me. I love to express my opinion. It makes me feel good. It's like I got a fucking giant weight off my chest. So.
Yep. Yeah. I enjoy just doing podcasting in general. So, like, I'm on the same boat with Greg. Like, I definitely want to get this back up and running in a timely fashion. But obviously, life has got us both in a bind. Hopefully that will change when I get my computer down to Southern California. We'll see how that goes. But
yeah.
I'm
also gonna try. Just on a side note here, Anthony. Not on this channel, but on my personal channel, because I always find that Mission Start doesn't really warrant the kind of traffic. But a Jackbox Party Pack 5 stream on Tuesday.
Cool. Awesome.
I got off work at 6 o'clock on Tuesday morning. I'm probably gonna come home and crash, sleep until about noon, and then sometime after that, I'll when I wake up, I'll crack open the stream.
Which reminds me, I need to add your channel to the channels to host on the list. Not that you're streaming it more on that channel, so.
Well, it's. I'll have to figure out when. Possibly tomorrow, but to be honest, I don't really want to tomorrow.
I see.
Well, because here's the thing: is I'm gonna wake up in the morning, go through my day, and then around 5 o'clock try to take a nap before I have to go into work at 10. So, I hate trying to squeeze shit in during the day, but we'll see, man. We'll see how I feel.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, I want to play some more Red Dead. I've played fucking 3 hours of it.
That game is a beast. That game.
Yeah, it is.
That game will last you a good year if you take your time with it.
I didn't buy the game for the campaign. I mean, I'm glad to play it. I want to play it, but I didn't buy it for the campaign. I bought it for that online version that's going to be coming out. I think that's going to be stupid.
God damn. Rockstar is just gonna make a shit more so than before. A shit ton of more money now, because then you have the GTA Online atmosphere and how people are using that as a role playing on Twitch, and now you're gonna have Red Dead at the same time.
Well, if I hope it doesn't take Rockstar a year and a half to release Red Dead Redemption 2 like they did with GTA 5 on PC. I hope it's just a few months, but we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. I would like to talk longer and catch up and do other things, but I am very,
No,
very tired.
Yeah, I'm pretty tired myself, so we should probably wrap it up here.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you guys who are listening to the podcast or watching this live stream. As far as like when will we be back, yeah, we'll keep you informed.
Yeah.
Just follow us on social media, either at MationStartP, at my own Twitter, at Defective Naruto, and or Greg's Twitter, or this way, at Chub Rock Geek. So we'll keep you guys informed regarding that. Yeah, guys, episode 200, yay!
Whee!
I was gonna say, you know what? We should definitely do, and I talked about this before, but like, I definitely want to do a, kind of a how-to podcast on podcasting, just our experience in it, and just like what tips from it we can do, or tips you can give away for people who are new to it.
I get that you want to call it a how-to, but I definitely don't think we should call it a how-to.
Yeah, something to that.
I mean,
effect.
I don't mind doing it like an experience podcast, and like definitely do a podcast where we talk to people who have experience being at a convention or working at a convention. We could do something like that. Like the idea for the podcast would be have conversations with people that have experience in a field that can give advice and tips on that thing, but definitely not a how-to, because everybody has a different way of doing their stream.
You know what? Good point.
I love the idea of an advice podcast. I'm totally 100% behind that.
I mean, I'm just specifically talking about just the podcasting of. Hang on.
I got what you're saying. You want to do a podcast on podcasts, but I don't think
it's
be about podcasts. There's a limited amount of
I know.
You can go with that.
I know. I just wanted to do one, just
just do one. Gotcha.
Yeah, just to do one, just because we've been doing it for so long, and I feel like we have qualified ourselves to give some sort of tips and experience.
Let's do this. Let's do the episode. Let's plan it. Let's come up with a title for the podcast that doesn't limit it to just podcasts. That way, if it does take off and we want to do it more, and we have the opportunity to talk to more people, see where I'm going with this?
I see.
We call it like, advice column. We call the show advice column. And then we go episode 1 podcast, and we just do it. We'll see where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying let's call it advice column. You see what I'm just.
Right. Yeah, I'm up.
I'm too tired to come up with a clever name right now, guys.
I know, we're both tired. You have more energy right now than I do, though. Like,
it's because I'm on camera and I know that I'm camera talking.
I see. I gotcha.
But also the way the shadow looks, I look like.
Yep.
A chunky All Might.
Yep. Well, guys, that's gonna do it for us. Thank you as always, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.